welcome to my first Flosstube video. My name is Patty, and this video series is going to be called Breaks for Stitches. My name is Patty Break, so it's kind of a play on words, breaks for stitches. So I break when I see a stitching store, and also because of my last name. So hopefully you get that pun, because I like puns. I am coming to you from the extreme east coast of Canada in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. I live on the island of Newfoundland, quite close to the province's capital, St. John's, so almost the most easterly point in North America. I can look across. I always tease that we have an ocean view, so I often tease or say that my friends in Ireland, I can wave across, and we wave at each other across the ocean. This is not my first YouTube video. I also have a knitting and crafting podcast at 4 Boys and NL Girl, and I'd love it if you join me over there as well. But I felt it was time to devote some videos to cross-stitch specific activities. I'm a cross-stitcher, obviously. I'm also dabbling in cross-stitch design, and I thought that I wanted a platform where I could speak more specifically to cross-stitch and maybe throw in a few other crafts in between. But if you're interested in seeing some of the other things that I do, please check out my 4 Boys and an NL Girl podcast. I usually record every few weeks, so that will be, if you like what you see here, maybe you'll like what you see there as well. What else can I tell you about myself? I am in my mid-40s. I do not have natural colored hair. I always tease my boys and tell them that their bill for hair dye one of these days is going to be really steep because I didn't have gray hair before I had them. They are 11, 9, and 6, so they're great ages right now. We're really enjoying them. That it's not without challenges. I often call my boys feral because they are crazy. They're boys. They're very busy. They're loud. They're occasionally obnoxious, but we still love them. And my 4th boy, obviously, is my husband, and he's a little better behaved than the other 3. It is a gray, kind of overcast, drizzly day here, so I'm hoping that the lighting is going to be okay for this video. And I wanted to show you some of the things that I'm working on, talk to you about some exciting things that are coming up, and go from there. So welcome to my very first Flosstube video, and I hope that I have many more to come and that you won't mind liking and subscribing to my channel if you're interested. I'd really appreciate that. And let's get going. So the first item I wanted to show you is, now you're going to see a theme here. It's in an Evertote. Hi Caroline, I have to tell you that, so Caroline is at Off the Grid Needle Arts, and she is the lovely maker behind these gorgeous Evertote bags, and I'll put information on the screen about them. And the thing is, Caroline, I have friends named Carolyn, and she spells her name exactly the way you do. So please forgive me if I ever say your name incorrectly, because I'm always trying to remember who's Caroline and who's Carolyn, even though the names are spelled exactly the same way. So housed in this beautiful Evertote bag, a notions pouch came with this bag as well. Actually, I'll show you that too. This cute little kind of sewy note bag, notions pouch, which naturally has embroidery floss all over it. So I am doing the pattern. I'm not going to show you this because it's the actual pattern, but it's from the Tiny Modernist, and the name of the pattern is Blackbirds Singing. So it's the Beatles song Blackbirds Singing in the Dead of Night. I'm stitching this on 28 count Monaco. It's been tea and coffee dyed, inspired by Priscilla and Chelsea at the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch podcast. Hi ladies. So that's what the Monaco, the tea and coffee dyeing, is exactly as they have stated in their video on tea and coffee dyeing. And I'm almost finished. I'm hoping this is going to be a finished object for next time. The camera's a little far away from me, so I hope that we're able to focus. Here we go. So that is my progress so far. I'm really enjoying this stitch. One thing that really thrills me about this stitch is that this is kind of a learning piece for me, because with this cross-stitch piece, I have, through the help of Kitten Stitcher, hi Teresa, and Stitchy Mommy, those 2 ladies have tutorials on how to do cross-stitch sewing in hand. So I've always stitched in hand. I've always held my fabric like this. I've tried hoops. I've never tried a lap frame, but a rug hook, so I use a frame for that. But I've always stitched in hand for cross stitch. And I'm not a very quick cross stitcher, but because I'm doing more designing, I need to stitch my models faster, and I thought, okay, I want to learn how to do the sewing method. And so thanks to Teresa and Stitchy Mommy, I've been able to do that. And so I'm thrilled that this entire piece so far has been stitched using the in-hand sewing method. And there is I apologize if you can hear my washer in the background, it just finished. At least one section right here, the crosses are not even with the rest of the piece, and I'm leaving it in because this is a learning piece for me. So nobody else is probably going to ever even notice that there are 6 or 7 stitches there with the legs in the wrong location. But because I'm turning the fabric as I sew, I didn't notice that I was putting the legs the wrong way. So my intent and my hope is that I'm going to keep doing it this way. And I have my other pieces. I think my tension is even enough that I should be able to finish them up using the sewing method as well. If not, I'll use the regular. So the sewing method is when you're, look it up on YouTube for some tutorials like Kitten Stitchers and Stitchy Mommy. I'm not going to demonstrate it today, but it is a much quicker way of doing cross stitch, and I have really been enjoying it. I am so pleased I learned it, and it has done, I think, done wonders for this particular stitching project coming up really quickly. So there you go, that's that one. Hopefully next time I podcast, that will be a finished object. I have reached over the, I'm actually closer to 50 than I am to 40, and I've reached the magical age where I now need cheaters. And I was actually at the optometrist on Tuesday this week, and I need bifocals, and I need cheater glasses, prescription glasses to go over my contacts. So if anybody's not familiar with these, this is it's from Mag Eyes, is the name of the company. You get a different strength of magnifier that you put, I think there's 4 or 5 different strengths that you can put in here. And this has saved me since Christmas for getting shop models done and design models done for my designing business. This has just been awesome. So I'm excited. The glasses, I have a really high prescription. My eyes are really bad, so I'm really looking forward to my glasses arriving, but it's going to take close to a couple of weeks because my lenses are so they're really specialized because of my prescription level. If anybody knows eyes, I've got a -10 on one side and a -9 on the other eye, so with an astigmatism, so I'm fairly blind. So let's put this one to one side. And I want to show you some older whips. And like I said, you're going to see a theme here because I have most of these, not all, but most of these in my lovely Evertote bags. So here's another one by Caroline. It's a beautiful flannel kind of plaid look. My husband is of Scottish descent, so I like anything that's kind of tartany or plaady. Or a plaid look, I should say, not plaady. I'm inventing a new word. This one's really cute as well because it's got, hopefully that'll focus, the fabric inside are mousse. And if you don't know anything about my province, we have a mousse problem. We have a lot of mousse. Oh, actually that's probably a better view of that fabric in the notions pouch. We had in the 1920s, 1930s, mousse are not original to the island of Newfoundland, but the population that was here was starving to death. And so it was introduced as a food crop. And there's no natural predators. The Newfoundland wolf was killed off a long time ago, although in the past 10 or 15 years we've got coyotes and wolves have moved back in. But prior to that there was no natural predators, so the moose population has exploded here. And it's actually become a huge issue when you're on the highway. A lot of people try not to drive after dark because you might hit a moose. It's a very real ongoing concern. So, but despite that, I do like moose. This particular project, I'm sure you've seen 100 times. It's actually one that I'm doing. It's a stitch along with Chelsea and Priscilla, and it is Country Cottage Needleworks for a Snowfall piece. I'm doing this, and most people have finished this long ago. This started just after Christmas, so in the or sometime in the winter, so it's been a long time coming. This is a piece of linen that I had in my stash, so I don't even know what it is other than the fact that it's linen. And I'm enjoying stitching it. It's a huge, as you can see, I have a huge piece of linen, so I'm going to be able to stitch 2, if not 3 other projects on this. This is how far I am so far. Hopefully you can see that. I haven't got, let's see, let's put a white piece of paper behind that in case it's hard for you to see. This is also the first time that I have used variegated or thread or fancy floss, as Chelsea calls it. I'm really enjoying that. So this one has some classic Colorworks pieces or colors in it. Country Lane, Little House Brown, Deep Fennel, and Weeping Willow. And then some DMC as well. So it's been neat. I love the variegation in the over-dyed threads. It's just beautiful. And it's not something we can get here. We don't have a stitching store in the entire province. The fabric merchant downtown St. John's on Duckworth Street is now carrying Valdani threads. So apart from Michael's, that's the only place you can go to get another type of embroidery floss. And it's really limiting. So, and most of the shopping that I guess Newfoundland Labrador stitchers do would be online, and that's just the way it is. That's life here. In yet another Evertotes project bag. This one is a beautiful, it's just got a white interior, and this one is a gorgeous camping. We're huge campers. We tent in the summer for weeks at a time. The summer we did 3 weeks in the tent. Last summer I took the boys by myself and we went all around Eastern Canada. We spent 5 weeks in the tent. So we're pretty hardcore campers. And I thought that this was the absolutely perfect project bag to go with somebody who likes to camp a lot. This one also came with a notion pouch. It's kind of a nice kind of woodsy looking notions pouch. So in here I have something very special, and this really, once I get the other, the Blackbirds Singing piece done, completed, I need to get this one finished, because this is a very special one. It's one that I started and was supposed to have finished for the 12th of July, which was mine and my husband's 22nd wedding anniversary, but I'm not finished yet. So this is a Lizzie Kate pattern. It is number 179 if you live to be 100. So if you live to be 100, I want to live to be 100 minus 1 day, so I never have to live a day without you. It also has the pattern, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. And this linen is what's called for, so it is Witch Elks Imports 30 count, or am I doing this one on 32 count? Hold on a second now. 30 count. I'm doing it on 30 count lamb's wool linen. I hope putting the paper behind this is helping. Maybe it's not doing anything. So as you can see, I'm almost there. This one I will be getting professionally framed. I want to hang it in our bedroom. My husband loves it. He cried when I gave it to him. He's not unfamiliar with receiving something not quite finished yet, so he was really touched by this particular piece. So I really need to get this done so that I can formally give it to him in the framed version. Okay, so that's that one. The next one is not housed in an Evertote bag. Shocking, I know. This one is a bag that I made. I do sew and quilts and such, and this is a huge project bag for the fabric. See those fish? And then the paisley, I put a paisley bottom. Lovely bag. This was a pattern I kind of made up, and it didn't really work out. The top is horrible, but the zipper works and everything. It's perfectly perfect for this particular project and other large projects that I'll stitch in the future. This is from a Dimensions kit. It's Dimension kit of Mary Englebright's Believe Santa. I'm just going to take that out of the plastic there in case there's a glare. This is an older piece. Let's see if the year is on this. What's the year on it? 1990. This is an older piece. I have, it just says raw linen, so I'm not sure what kind of linen it is. It doesn't tell me, but of course it's a dimensions kit, so it has all the embroidery floss and everything in it. I won't show you the pattern, but I will show you. I haven't gotten too far in this, but I have gotten a start. So this for me, as you can probably tell already, I tend to stick to smaller pieces, and I found this particular one very intimidating to start, because for me, it's not a full coverage piece by any stretch, but it is going to be 10 by 14 inches, and that is quite a bit larger than anything I've ever stitched before. Well, no, I think I have stitched other things about that size and given them away, but this is a more full coverage. It's not full coverage, but it's more full coverage than I'm used to. This one, I think, when I go back to it, I am going to use the sewing method of cross stitching, and hopefully my tension will remain consistent. I have noticed that with one difference with my sewing method is my back. The backs of my projects aren't as neat as they used to be. So we'll see if I can improve that. But I'm excited to see how much faster I can stitch this piece, knowing that I'm using the sewing method now instead of another one. Oh, my needle fell out. Let's stick that back in there so we don't lose it. So this is a kit that I have, my husband actually gave me in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, gave me her Afghan for Christmas with this exact scene on it, and I have wanted to cross stitch this piece ever since then. So that's a real thrill for me to be able to do that. Okay, next I want to show you some haul. So I've showed you my works in progress. Next time I will show you one or two finished objects. I didn't think about that this morning, but that's what I'll do so that you can see those. I have added to I wanted to show you that I've added to my Evertote collection, and I have two new bags, new to me, bags that I just received from Caroline. And Caroline was so sweet. She included a small package of black silk, embroidery silk, to go with as an extra thank you for my purchase. And Caroline, I can't thank you enough. I've never used silk. This is a completely new fiber to me. Well, I've used it with knitting, but I've never used it as an embroidery floss. And it's black, so I'll be able to use it in lots of projects. So thank you so much. I'm thrilled. I can't wait till I haul it out for a project and get to use it. So this is the next Evertote bag set that I purchased. So Vintage Roses. It's just gorgeous. This reminds me of sheets in my grandmother's bedroom when I used to stay with her, and when I saw it, I thought I have to have that because it reminds me of her. And then of course the little Notions pouch is the same polka dot fabric as the bottom. So I love that. And this one just got me. The fabric's beautiful. These are all medium totes. I believe this one's a medium tote. And it's a little bit taller. So they're about medium totes. You need to speak to Carolyn. Oh, and she also included, so with this one, it came with a little needle minder, which is awesome. And then here is the larger bag, and I just love this. I love the print. Thought it was absolutely gorgeous. The other one, the Vintage Roses, also has, in the Notion pouch, has a polka dotted needle minder to go with it. So as you can tell, I'm a bit of an Evertote addict. I love project bags. It's like a filing system, a really pretty filing system. All right, now I want to get into some more haul. Let's see. I have to try to stop saying ah. So this one I'm sure you've seen a million times. It's by Brenda Gervais, Bobbing for Pumpkins. Haven't started this yet, but it's in my list of starts. I don't know if I'm not going to start it this year before Halloween. That's not my intent with that particular one, but I do want to start it at some point. Then I have these. Now, first I want to show you this. These are from Kathy Barrick. She had a retirement sale on recently where she was retiring some of her patterns, and I wanted to get them, but you know what? Besides the patterns is the most thrilling thing about this particular package is the fact that Kathy Barrick herself signed that little sticky saying, "Thank you, Kathy." I hope the camera's focusing on that. I was thrilled. So it came in this little file folder with this little hand written note. So from Kathy, the patterns that I got were, now this one's not a retired one. I'm taking them out of the bags because I don't want the glare for the camera. So this is Halloween on the Farm. I am hoping to start this one within the next couple weeks. And I'm going to run down to the fabric merchant actually and see if they have any Valdani threads that would work, or Valdani. Did you say Valdani or Valdani? It's for anybody who doesn't know, it's a Canadian embroidery floss company. They do hand over-dyed thread, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous floss. So I'm hoping for the orange I can get a variegated. If not, I'll follow Kathy's pattern to the T. The other one that I got, so this is, I got two retired patterns. This one is called Blue Spruce. I thought that was just beautiful. I love Kathy's designs. They're awesome. And this one is called Stitching Girls. Sorry, I should have had these out before I started this video, but hindsight's 2020. Stitching Girls. I love the patterns, and I love how these are finished in those little hearts. I think that's just lovely. The other two little patterns that I hope to get done before or on and around this fall at Christmas, and my paper, I'm afraid, is a bit bent. And these are free patterns. So one's by Lottie Da Designs. I found this on Pinterest, but then went to the Lottie Da, sorry, my phone was going off and distracting me. I went to the Lottie Da website and got these. So this one is Fallen Leaf. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that very well. It's the same pattern. We cut it in half and have two, so I guess I have two patterns. But it says, a fallen leaf is summer's wave goodbye. A fallen leaf is summer's wave goodbye. I thought that was really sweet. And the other one I have is a free pattern from Lizzie Kate. Again, this is on the Lizzie Kate website. And this is more Halloween. It's spooky time. And that's another small that won't take me very long to stitch up. So I'm happy about that. I think that's all I have to show you today. I am in the process of changing what I'm going to do. My Etsy shop is named 4 Boys and an NL Girl. And I found that where that made sense for my knitting podcast, etc., it doesn't make as much sense for my cross-stitch business. Because 4 Boys and an NL Girl doesn't roll off the tongue, number one. It's a little bit hard to remember, and it has nothing stitchy related in it. So I'm thinking of changing everything in my Etsy shop to Breaks for Stitches, but that's going to be a little while coming. So right now my Etsy shop name is 4 Boys and an NL Girl.etsy.com. I'll put that information on the screen. And you'll find that my patterns right now, particularly right now because I'm just starting, don't appeal to everybody. A lot of them I'm doing for the tourist trade here in Newfoundland and Labrador, for people who are coming to visit the province or who are from the province and live away, or are inspired by the province to cross-stitch. So these are patterns that are more little vignettes, small culturally specific things to Newfoundland and Labrador. I have a couple of smalls, so small I call them stamps, Canadiana stamps, that are in the shop, and I'm in the process of designing more, so hopefully in the next couple months there'll be more designs coming in. I am designing all the time, but it takes me, between the boys, general life, and the amount of stitching that I do, trying to get models stitched up and the patterns done takes me a little while. I'm not really fast. So I'm hoping to have more patterns out soon, and I will be featured in the magazine A Needle Runs Through. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Or is it A Needle Pulling Thread? You know what? I always get it wrong. Just a second now, I'm going to look it up. I got it wrong. It's A Needle Pulling Thread, which is a Canadian magazine, and I have 3 Christmas ornaments that are going to be featured in that in their next issue. So when that comes, I'm thrilled. It's the first time I've been in a magazine, and when that comes, I will show it to you, and I will have some of those magazines available in my Etsy shop as well if you're interested, or you can buy direct through them. that's all I can think of to say right now. Thank you so much for suffering through my first Flosstube video. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm an avid Flosstube watcher. I watch several Flosstube channels right now and just love them. And I thought that it was time for me to move into the Flosstube world as well. So I hope you get time to do some stitching this week with your favorite beverage, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.